free at the minute, but he's decided he's having a hot shower because he's really cold. We said it's terrible up there with high winds and rain.
Yeah, it's bad here. It's been bad here, like I said.
It is here as well. We've got the heating full on, and I'm still sat with a hot water bottle. I can't get warm today.
Right, we're live. Hello, it's only me and welcome to another edition of Megacast TV. My name is Jake, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host extraordinaire. I heard her say that on her live earlier this morning. I watched the first couple of minutes, and I was listening, and she was like, "Oh yes, I'm on Megacast TV with Jake, my co-host extraordinaire." I was like, "That's me." That. Anyway, please welcome Trace.
Hiya, Jake. Good morning, good afternoon, and a very, very good evening wherever you're joining us from out there on the World Wide Web. Hope it's been a good one. It's been absolutely dreadful here. Dark all day, high winds, and the rain has been atrocious.
Yeah, it's been bad here too, Trace. It's been really, really bad.
And Steve said it's the same in Scotland, so it must be like a whole UK thing.
Yeah. It's going to be nice tomorrow. Well, I say nice. There's a big difference between, sort of UK autumn nights and, Australian summers.
Yes, there is, or New Zealand summers. But I've been feeling sorry for the market this year in Lincoln because it's normally a little bit cold, but it's not quite so wet. So they've only got till tomorrow, and then that's it. Tomorrow afternoon it's short. So they've had some horrible weather this year for it.
Yeah, my mum enjoyed it yesterday, so she said it was nice. It's good.
Was it the first time she'd ever been?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh, okay. So what are we talking about tonight, Jake? What is tonight's?
Well, I'm going to let you take the lead, Trace, because I don't really know. I know a bit about it from what I've seen on the news, but go on, share with us.
I wanted to talk about the crisis with our ambulances. I mean, it's getting silly now, and I don't really understand why. Well, I do understand why, but when people have got life-saving conditions, where they need to act quick, it's really frightening that our system is that undermanned, that people are dying at home. I mean, I saw a news thing a couple of weeks ago that made me really think, as well as my own experiences, what I'll explain in a moment. This guy got rung by a neighbour, right? His dad lives alone. He's an elderly gentleman, lived alone. Right. She went round and he was slumped in his armchair. So she called his son that lives just a few doors down the road. He got there at 7 o'clock, right? Realised his dad had had a massive stroke and he rung for an ambulance.
Right.
They said, "We are going to be hours. Ring again shortly." His wife turned up at 9 o'clock. There still hadn't been an ambulance. She rung and they said it's going to be 2 in the morning at the earliest. They rung again at 2 in the morning. I think it was crazy amount of hours. I think it was about 8 hours by the time he got in there, with an ambulance. Now, anybody knows that if you suffer a massive stroke, you have 2 hours to reverse that. It's either 2 or 3 hours to get the medication. Otherwise, the damage becomes permanent. This just isn't good enough, is it?
I don't want to go into the who, what's, and wherefores because it's quite a personal story. But I've had a similar experience with a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, who I won't mention any names. But this lady had an accident at work. She's a forklift truck driver, and the forklift truck has hit a grate at work. It's happened a couple of months previous with someone else as well, and the forklift truck has caused major damage. And so she's been off work for a couple of weeks, this lady. And the other morning, she woke up with a banging headache. And her son rang 111 and they said, "I think you need to call an ambulance, given that she'd had this accident at work." So he called for an ambulance and they waited for 4 hours. Well, they waited for 3 hours. And he rang back and said, "Look, this is really bad now. She's had this accident at work. I just want to make sure she's going to be all right. We really need to get her to hospital." And they waited 4 hours for an ambulance. Okay. When they got to the hospital, they did scans and things, and she had a bleed on her brain.
Wow.
And they've put her into an induced coma.
to try and relieve the pressure.
And when she came, they were draining everything off. When they brought her back round, she was in a bit of a panic. She didn't really know where she was or anything. So they put her back into the coma just to sort of, she needed a bit longer to recuperate, sort of thing. And when they brought her back round, she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know her name. She doesn't know who she's married to. She doesn't recognise her friends and family.
See, this could be because the amount of time she was waiting with that bleeding.
I know.
This is what I'm saying. It's crazy. Me, myself, I had an experience, as you know, about 6 weeks ago. I had to call an ambulance out. I was in excruciating pain in the middle of my abdomen, sort of in between my boobs, in my chest, going into my back. So I rung 111. They said, no, I think you better get an ambulance. So I rung for an ambulance. They said there's a 2-hour waiting. Okay. So I waited the 2 hours, still nobody. They did come about 2.5 hours, though, I must admit. Then they said, right, we need to take you to hospital, because one thing I didn't know, when women represent having a heart attack, they don't get like the pain like the men get. It comes as a gastric pain, like a heartburn pain.
Right.
So she says, you could be having a heart attack. We need to get you in to have the blood work done to see if the hormone's in your blood. So with being a recluse, that's obviously a hard decision for me, but they managed to talk me round into it. Well, we finally got there, Jake. This was going on 3.5 hours from when my pain started. We had to wait 40 minutes in the ambulance before they could offload me because there wasn't the space. And this is what's happening. This ambulance had come it wasn't a Lincoln ambulance. It had come from Gainsborough.
Yeah.
Because there's that many ambulances queued up waiting to offload. It's making them so short.
The ambulance that picked that lady up came from Grimsby.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't.
Wow.
It wasn't even a South Yorkshire ambulance that picked her up.
Because with the COVID thing, they're all so, once they get to the hospital, they can't take everyone off to start a next course, and this is what the holdup is. So I don't know why they haven't brought the military in, and brought some of their logistics in.
I don't know why they shut those hospitals down, Trace, that they closed down, that they built, the Nightingale hospitals. They should never have closed them, because that would have helped alleviate some of the pressure, I think.
Well, yeah, because then the COVID cases could have gone there, and that would have freed our normal hospital. That was a great idea, Jake. I never thought of that. But we're in a mess. We're in a big mess, because it's not just the strokes, it's the heart attacks. There's a lot of people in deep trouble.
Yeah. Hi, Nessie. Nice to see you. And I don't know if you've watched
tonight,
Trace, but on the news tonight it said that they were talking about taking away some GP surgeries so that they could give the COVID boosters out. Well, I'm sorry, but they're talking about the routine health checks. Well, I'm sorry, if they're going to take away the routine health checks and something was to crop up during that routine health check, then we're going to be in an even bigger mess.
Yeah. So, and I know even with the cancer patients, people are finding lumps and that, and they're not coming forward because of all this going on. And Macmillan was appealing the other night, and they said, please come forward, because, the quicker we get a diagnosis, the better chance you have of surviving this.
I mean, at the moment, there's 75 cases of the new Omicron variant.
I know, it's shot up, hasn't it? It's shot up in like 3 days.
And there's even cases in Scotland. It was on the news tonight. I think there's just 1 or 2 cases up there now. But, things are not going to improve, are they? And things are going to get gradually worse.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So surely he should be thinking now, he knows the ambulance are in crisis. He's got to be alleviating these people. He's got to be helping them. You bring the army in, logistically or whatever. They have their own ambulances and stuff. They could be helping a little bit, and it makes them feel worthful.
And we keep saying, that we are. It's a National Health Service. Everybody from abroad goes, "Oh my God, you're so lucky to have a National Health Service." Don't get me wrong. We really are. We're really, really a lucky country to not have to pay for it, and I'm not begrudging that. And the staff and everybody is working
so
ridiculously hard to get us through this. And I'm not taking away anything from anybody that works there or anything like that. But the point is that sometimes it's costlier to go private, but you get appointments sooner, you're getting seen quicker, you're getting, services, much easier access to services. And so, yeah, while it's great to have a national health service, what are we supposed to do?
I was going to say, it's not so great when it's in crisis like this, is it? When
Oh.
people are dying in their homes because they just can't get the help, or they're being, like your friend, permanently damaged from waiting, or, a stroke. Like I said, you have 2 or 3 hours. If you don't get that medicine, it's permanent.
Yeah, it's just...
This is preventable. These are preventable things.
Well, like you say, I think he's going to have to do something. And we were talking, I hope he's not watching, we were talking the other day to I was talking to my stepmom about doing something with Dad's birthday, which is in December.
Yeah.
And my stepmom said, well, I think we need to wait and see what's going to happen, because actually we don't know if there's going to be another lockdown. And I think she's right, I think they're going to have to do something.
I think the face mask wearing is a bridge too short. I think if he'd brought in plan B, where he got people working from home and the face mask and the distancing, that would have been give us a better chance.
Yeah.
But because everybody's still commuting in, this is rife, this one. It's rife for infection. So we're going to be in a huge mess.
And it's only going to get worse.
And he's just dilly-dallying again. He's just doing what Boris does.
It's so sad, and as I've said on previous occasions, I think he's done the best of what he could do for, given the situation. But actually, at this point now, he's not doing his best as far as I'm concerned, and he needs to be getting his finger out.
Well, he does, because more families are going to lose more family members, and it's cruel. People have lost enough. They've lost jobs, they've lost family, they've lost their security. He's supposed to be working for the people, to the people, for the people kind of thing. And he just doesn't seem to be pulling his finger out enough for the common man. And we've suffered enough. The common people have really, they've tried to follow the rules. We've done everything physically possible to help each other. We need the government's backing on this. We really do. And like I said, I'm not against Boris. At the beginning, I loved him. I thought he did really well. When he caught the COVID himself, he was being really proactive. But now he just seems to have given up, and he's just letting... there's no leadership, and we need a leader. So, even the Labour guy, what's his name?
Keir Starmer.
Even he's, going to be a better. He's being a better leader at the minute. He's the one standing up and bringing all this to the Commons and saying, "Hey, this isn't good enough."
I googled it the other day, and the last time we had a major pandemic of any scale like this was in 1840. After our conversation the other day that we had, the last time we had a major pandemic like this was in 1840, and it was the flu pandemic of 1840. All right, killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and so actually, it's not actually that long ago when you think about, No,
not really. And that's what I said. As generations go on, you find that there was always a disease in that generation. Like we had the TB, we had the smallpox, we had, what are you going there for?
Well, no, I was just going to say, during my lifetime, though, Trace, we've had mad cow disease, we've had chicken flu, AIDS. So we've still had things.
That's what I'm saying. So we get these things every so often that pop their head up. But the one true thing, and I know there's all them people that are against the vaccines and the boosters, and, there are all these conspiracy theories about having the vaccines. But if you look through history, the only thing that's ever saved us was having the vaccines, whether it be the MMR, the rubella, the tuberculosis. It's the only thing that's kept our generations going and these diseases away. So surely from history, if you look back, the vaccinations are the way to go. The boosters, the vaccines are the way to be going to protect yourself, your country and the world. I
am very, very pro-vaccine.
I am as well.
And I know you are as well, aren't you? But I just wanted to read out a post that was on a friend's wall, and I'm not going to name the friend again. It's something it's a sort of generic post that people are posting on Facebook. So the post goes, "I'm not anti-vax, pro-choice all the way, but this sums it up. At no point in history has a vaccine been used to impede a human civil rights. Of all the vaccines I've taken in my life, tetanus shots, measles, mumps, polio, flu. Never have I heard so many lies and deceptions over a vaccine. I don't want to go on to read the rest, but basically what they're saying is, what people are saying. I'm not saying she's
No,
against it at all.
yeah.
But what people are saying is that we have to have the choice. Well, I'm sorry. And we talked about this the other night, didn't we? On a programme, can I just say, that hasn't yet gone out, because I actually spoke to someone after we aired the first programme that we did about COVID, and they said, you know what, I'm not even watching the news at the minute because I'm just so COVID out. I'm so
I get that. I'm COVID fatigued as well.
So fed up of hearing about COVID, I can't cope with what's going on in the world. And so switching off. People are not watching the news. But my point is that the polio vaccine and the mumps and measles vaccines weren't against your civil rights, but they came out at some point, and they are given as children. You know, you are given these vaccines as children, and so we don't know what went off or who decided they were going to take these vaccines when the vaccines first became available. They've been around, you know, years and years.
And it was okay for the odd person not to have the vaccine. But when you've got a worldwide pandemic like this, and it is killing thousands, you know, be respectful. Come on, guys, open your eyes. This is a serious situation we're in. And if you want your life back, to quote what I mean normal, the only way out of this is a vaccine. It is the only way out.
I understand what they're saying is, if you haven't had the vaccine, you can't go abroad. Well, I'm sorry, but if you don't like that and you think it's against your civil rights, the only way that you can change that is to have the goddamn vaccine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same.
And
if you're sick to death of hearing about the COVID, then do something proactive about it, and be one of the people that stand up to help stop it.
And it's not about not spreading the virus. It's about taking responsibility. It's something else we've already talked about, Trace, isn't it?
Yeah, self-responsibility. Yeah. I'm bored with it. I want it to go away, so I'm having the vaccines. Because like I said, if you look through history, whether it be tetanus, whooping cough, TB, rubella for women, all these vaccines came out for a reason, and once we started having them and they were given to us, the death rates from that, the babies being born disfigured and that, it all stopped. So there's a reason why we have vaccinations.
Don't get me wrong, we're not saying the disfigurements and the viruses don't still happen, because they do, but they're a lot less than they've ever been.
Yeah. Because I watched the film Olivia, and they were both, after they lost their daughter through measles, became very proactive back in 1920 or 20 something to have them, you know, proactive for the measles vaccine, because they didn't want another child to suffer like that.
No.
And this is all this is. It's just another one of the vaccines that unfortunately we have to protect our communities, our world, if we want to be normal.
And it's not about taking away your civil rights, because, you know, you're actually taking away your civil rights by not having the vaccine. Because actually, if you've had the vaccine, you've had the boosters, you're free to travel, you're free to do
whatever. Yeah.
So the only person that's stopping you from
is you.
Is you, exactly. So
because and also it's very selfish, because you know you've got to think of the clinically vulnerable, not just the clinically vulnerable elderly either. There's people my husband's age that are that. There's the Down syndrome children, and you know, younger people with learning disabilities that need to be protected because their immune systems aren't so you know, good at fighting. So it really is a selfish choice. Maybe it's out of ignorance with some people. Maybe they've jumped on this bandwagon with all these conspiracy theories. And if you're going to follow conspiracy theories, that's fine, but educate yourself a little bit. Don't just follow blindly.
And then you get people saying, oh, I have educated myself. Look at this link from this government website. And when you look at the link, it's from, like, I don't know, medical.uk/
I bet it's someone that's not even recognised.
Yeah.
And we already know, we've done the news a lot on YFF. We know what propaganda is.
Yeah, exactly. And whilst this programme was initially about the ambulance service, all these issues regarding vaccines and the hospitals being backed up and everybody just not having the services that they need.
It's all down to this, isn't it? It's all this in an eggshell, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so, yes, we're talking about COVID again. And so, yes, we're mentioning the vaccines. And so, yes, we are very pro vaccine.
But we're also pro trying to help our ambulances and the people that we love and our communities to get that service they deserve, not sit at home dying or suffering long term because of us not getting it right. If the government can't do it, then guys, this is what I'm saying. Together we rise, united we stand. Let's fall in together and do it for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for other people.
Because it's a sad state of affairs when you're having a massive heart attack and you're being left to die at home because nobody can get to you.
It is. It is. It's so very, very sad. Hope we've given you food for thought tonight. We're keeping tonight very short because we've got things that we want to do ourselves. But if you're watching this on replay, just put #replay in the comments. If you agree with anything that we've said, please feel free to do so. If you disagree,
or disagree, we like opinions, don't we? It's great that we can all share, all be together with, this is our personal passion, our personal opinions, but it doesn't mean that we're right or wrong.
Yeah. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and every opinion matters. And it's not that we're going to block you from the page, or if you don't, because you're entitled just as much as the next person. But whilst I respect you and your opinions, just respect anybody else, not just us.
But anybody on the page or whatever. Yeah, definitely. Kindness is a way forward, isn't it?
It certainly is. It certainly is, and it doesn't cost anything, does it, Trace?
No, not just to be kind and be a little bit of respect.
Once again, I hope you've enjoyed the programme as much as we have this evening. I'm going now. Bye.
Have a great night, guys. Whatever you're up to, remember, be bold, be beautiful, have your own opinions, and always be unique. Mwah.